Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and a Today in Tarkov, or a TIT as the community has come to like calling it for short. We're going to update you guys on some of the news in Tarkov. I haven't got a video done yet for my first thoughts, so I'm trying to stay away from that a little bit till I can get a little bit more in the game. Maybe tomorrow we can have a video that just kind of gives over everything encompassing with the new patch and my thoughts on it. So we'll get to that eventually. This is just news. This is to get you guys to update with what's going on. So first things first, let's talk about the patch. BSG put out a hotfix technical client update, whatever you want to call it, yesterday to address some issues. First was fix the lack of distant shadows on some locations. This was a bug. A lot of streamers were noticing it, that if you were far enough away, basically it looked like everything was full lit and you could see perfectly, which means you could have been hiding in a shadow and not be seen. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, "Bah, that's not a bug, that's a feature, get rid of the rats." But tactics, shadow, this is Tarkov. Fucking get used to it. Fixed an issue with some items locking quest progression. So this has to do with sanitary standards part 2. I did a short on it, talked about that a little bit. I think they fixed it. I had to do the workaround prior to this, but I haven't seen anybody say they're still having the issue. So hopefully this is fixed with the gas analyzers. Oops, I didn't mean to click there. Fix the lack of chromatic aberrations when using painkillers. This is ongoing. The painkiller thing's hotly debated right now. I'm not going to get into this, but the effect of painkillers is no longer sharpening. Right now, it basically pulls all the color out of your stream, adds a little bit of blur, not like you have pain, but just a little bit. And I think this is going to be a work in progress. I think they're going to constantly tweak this based on feedback from the community. Initially, I liked it, but the more I've played, the more I've realized, especially when it's raining, if you take painkillers, you just can't see anything. Everything is basically black and white and muddy. You have no detail. And while I hated the sharpening, when it's raining and dark and you use painkillers, the sharpening was better than that. So I want to think about it some more, maybe come up with some suggestions, not just bitch and moan about it, and try to put those out there, see what you guys think for the, because there needs to be a downside to using painkillers. You can't just use painkillers and have no downside, because then there would be no point it's a pointless game loop. So I'll go down a rabbit hole if I keep going about it. Next, fixed errors that occurred while selling items to fence after scav raid. I'm still seeing errors with this. Not just this, but other things. What I can tell you right now is if you have a very full stash, very full, do not fuck around with deleting, moving things, or like putting attachments on stuff to try to make more space. Before you go into your scav raid, make sure you have the space. Sell stuff that you don't need, because that's where these bugs are cropping up that I'm noticing the most. I lost half of my loot off a scav raid. Luckily, I got my backpack off, but I lost the armor, the guns, everything else just poofed and vanished. It let me move it off. I got a couple of errors, but it can't let me move it off. And then once I reset my scav, everything was just gone except the backpack. So keep that in mind. The fixed incorrect bot pathing on reserve. I did notice first thing that the AI was doing some weird stuff, but I thought that was just kind of the new part of the new patch, which if you haven't seen the patch notes, go check that video out where I cover everything that talks there. But it looks like they fixed some weird pathing there. Fixed an issue where in response to an aggression, Zerachi would heal first and only then not shoot back. So this meant you could probably cheese Zerachi, because if 2 or 3 people were shooting at him, he would heal before he shot back. Now he's going to shoot and kill you, or at least try to. So that's addressed. Fixed an issue where bots would not attack players in specific conditions. I didn't see this a lot. It was hard to tell what was going on. But there were some instances where AI scavs just wouldn't engage you, and it was really weird. I couldn't tell if it was because they couldn't see you, if they were engaged in something else. They changed the AI a lot this patch, so we're going to see a lot of bugs and a lot of things to work through, so just keep that in mind. Fixed an issue where bot groups would become aggressive to everyone after the leader bot dies. Everybody was talking about this, and this is primarily on streets only, I think, or was. And people were just getting killed they were a scav getting killed by other scavs that they weren't aggro to. All of a sudden, the scavs just aggro them. So I think that's what this is about. That is fixed. Fixed an issue where bot groups would not assist Kaban. So that's just part of the Kaban fight loop game mechanic, where if you engage Kaban, scavs from the local area are going to come help. So you're going to get flanked and stuff. So they addressed that. So we'll get into some other bugs real quick, but specifically because I tweeted it here and we got a response from BSG. Daniel is the PR guy with BSG. And I said, is there a fix to Tarkov Shooter Part 1 locking up, which it is right now for me and a lot of other players. He says it's being worked on. Another thing to note is with a technical update, this one's from today, but they also did a technical update last night and it reset everybody's graphics settings to default. I'm not sure why. There was something they needed to do to reset it all. Now, these are my settings. I've got a monster of a computer. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying don't use these unless you have a good computer because it won't work. You're going to have shitty frames. But go check your graphics. I know it sucks because you probably don't remember exactly what you had, but they're all set to default now. The patch did it. So you're going to need to go back in and change some of your stuff. Some of the big ones you're going to want to deal with is like noise, chroma aberrations, grass shadows, depending on if you want those on or not, lobby limits, DLSS if you're using it, LOD. All of this stuff is going to have impacts not just on how your game looks, but how it performs. Z blur and noise, make sure you turn those off because they'll make your games look like crud. Those are two big ones people miss that get turned back on. So your settings are reset. Make sure you know that. Now, as far as queue times, a lot of people are complaining about queue times, and I understand it. This is pretty normal for early wipe, and it's only going to get worse. It's Saturday today, Friday, Saturday tonight. You're going to have terrible queue times as a scav, particularly because it tends to be that just people scav more than they PMC early on, trying to get that loot and gear, and you can't get into a raid as a scav without it being created for a PMC. So the raids are created for PMCs, and then scavs load into those raids. So if more people are scavving, there's not enough raids for them to load into. Especially on dense maps. People love going to streets. People love going to reserve. People love going to lighthouse. Those are going to have the worst queue times. Now, this rumor has been going around for a couple of wipes, and I'm starting to believe it more and more each wipe because I'm usually playing with squads early wipe, and we don't have a lot of queue problems. You know, our longest queue, we had one scav reserve that was like 5 or 6 minutes before we started loading into the map. And that everything else, I mean, we go to streets, we're like 3-4 minutes, and some people are saying they're like 10-15 minutes before they load in. The difference is it's squad versus unsquad. So people say that like if you invite somebody and it creates the group and then you launch before they even join, like here, I'll just show you real quick what I'm talking about. So if you go in and we go streets and you come in here and you start looking for a group and you like invite somebody and it creates this group and then you ready up, that is enough to put you in like a group queue. I haven't confirmed that. I'm just letting you know. If you're going to go scav in, try to get some buddies, try to go in a squad because it seems to help with the queue times quite a bit versus a solo. And it will get better. Monday, we see it every time. It'll drop off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The queue times will be much less. Next weekend, they'll kick back up again a little bit. And then it just starts to taper off as people get spread out. People quit playing. Yeah, people stop playing after a week. It happens. And we'll just kind of have to keep an eye on it after that. Now, there's streets maps already. I'm looking at Reamer's Twitter. He does the more 3D stuff, but this is a 2D top-down map. I'm going to pull up the Reddit. So if you're a Reddit guy, go over there, support these guys. I'll put a link down in there. These guys put a ton of work in to make these maps for us, so make sure you go show them some love. But it's the top-down 2D map that has all the extracts. So the green ones and yellow, or green ones are for PMCs, yellow ones are for scavs. So if you're trying to figure out where there used to only be 4 extracts, right? So now we have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus this new PMC, joint PMC scav extract here, which is nice to have one of those. So there's several new scav extracts, 3 of them being the old ones. I'm sorry, 4 of them, the old ones still being there, but having 3 new ones on top of the PMC extract are there. It's also on the wiki. Again, if you guys have questions or you're lost, these guys on the wiki do a fucking great job of updating this stuff. Some of us streamers try to help them where we can, but it's mostly you guys in the community that do this stuff. So if you're looking for a streets map, you just go up top right, type in, click on the little thing, and this is how I do it. There might be better ways. I just type in streets, bring up streets of Tarkov, which you can do this for any of the maps, and then you've got your maps down here. So here's that same map. They've got it up there already. But again, make sure go give those guys Reddit karma or whatever the hell it is. I don't use Reddit that much. And then here's Reamer. He's working on his 3D map. It's still got a ways to go. Interestingly enough, it looks like he does have the mines posted on here already, which we'll talk about that in a second, for around Lexos. I guess we can talk about it right now. So Lexos obviously is a shitstorm right now. I haven't really worked on getting in there safely. It doesn't look like every entrance is completely blocked because it looks like you might be able to get in here at the LLC building or around the corner here. Maybe at the front guard shack. You can't really tell because this building's in the way. This is where Cabana is, stuff like that. And keep that in mind. These mines are one-hit killers. They're claymores, or the Russian version of a claymore. I forget what they're called. But you don't get a second warning. They go off and you are dead. And people are going to be working on how to get through this and figure this out. So keep that in mind. I'll probably do some exploring today on stream. So come check it out if you want. So yeah, that's Streets map. Going on to the next thing, task changes. There have been quite a few changes with tasks. I haven't got to all of them yet. I know Psycho Sniper's changed. Tarkov Shooter 8, I think. The big one I've got right now is Shooter Born in Heaven. This is completely changed. I don't like this change. I'll get into why. You might love it, and that's fine. I don't like it. I'm not saying they need to change it back because I don't like it. I just want something different. But this is drastically changed. It also gives you +5 sniper levels, which you need to save for Psycho Sniper, but we'll talk about that more later as well. Gunsmiths haven't changed drastically yet. I did part 1. I haven't done part 2 and 3 yet because I want to go through them and make sure they haven't changed from last wipe and redo my whole Gunsmith series. So keep an eye out for that. Next real quick thing I want to talk about is the random loot spawn stuff that people are talking about. Now, I did this tweet. I did a thing on YouTube talking about how I thought they removed these from interchange. Looks like I was wrong. We just had really bad luck. First 6-7 hours of my stream on the first day when I did this, nobody had seen a cache on interchange. So maybe they were bugged and BSG fixed them, or we just had terrible luck. I don't know what it is, but it brought up an interesting point talking about caches not being on interchange, and that discussion isn't what this is about. But caches are random now. Now, that doesn't mean they move. I haven't seen any indication that they spawn in different spots. What it looks like is they just have a chance to spawn or not spawn at their original location. So keep that in mind if you're always checking caches. You're not going crazy if you knew there was one there and you can't find it, which sometimes that was always the way for me. I run around in circles and couldn't find a cache sometimes on woods especially, but that's what's going on. Now, this is also affecting loot containers. There's crates. You'll walk in and there'll be a crate missing. You're like, what the hell? But from what I've noticed, there are actually more crates around the map than normal, a lot more. They won't spawn where they originally were, but you'll go to the next room over and there'll be 2 sitting in there. And this is for the most part a good thing. The downside to this that I've seen is that a lot of the crates, especially the big like tech crates and medical crates, like the really big tan wooden ones, I think they bug out and they don't have, like the new ones we've noticed don't have loot in them most of the time. Like if there's one that's in a spot that it's not supposed to be on customs, like there is an Alamo and stuff, they're almost always empty. The original ones have stuff in them, but the new ones tend to just not have anything. And I don't know if that's a bug. I don't know what's going on. So just keep that in mind. That is what I am seeing. But with that, they have definitely, I say increased loot, but loot is pretty much where it was at the end of last wipe. And they do this every wipe. Loot gets turned way down at the start of the wipe to make things more rare, make progression slow down, and the community really didn't like it. And it sucks getting gate kept by RNG, like really bad RNG, like you could run 10 raids and not find an item you need kind of thing. Drives, gas analyzers, that kind of stuff. So they've definitely turned loot up. People are finding LEDXs all over. I've already got my found and raid LEDX. I got 2 graphics cards, Intels, ophthalmoscopes, defibs, all sorts of stuff within like my first 10 raids. So they didn't turn loot back down for the start of wipe. It doesn't look like. So we'll have to see how that's going to impact it. It is a shorter wipe. It's only a 4-month wipe, and that might have something to do with it. But that's something for sure that's going on. In addition, BSG is running a discount for the game right now. So if you're looking to upgrade, if you're looking to get into the game for the first time, or your buddies are and they've been waiting for a discount, there's a 15% off discount that is running from, it's active now, but it only goes till tomorrow. It goes to August 13th. So basically Sunday, about 5 p.m. it looks like, tomorrow night. So the discount's there. It's 15% on everything, on whatever edition you buy, and upgrade. So if you upgrade, it's 15% off as well if you're going from standard to EODs. So keep that in mind. That's there. Just want to mention that so people know. And then the last thing I'll bring up, and hopefully I'm not missing anything, it's kind of been a blur the last couple of days, but BSG is going to be at Gamescom in Germany. So if you're going to be near there, you can go check it out, August 23rd to the 27th. And they're going to be doing journalists and influencers will have an opportunity to be first to see gameplay of the closed beta version of Arena. So hopefully we get some more movement on Arena after this. We'll see. So we'll wrap it up there. As always, I'll do a quick shout out for my music. Kind of sponsors myself. I have my own music, 160 songs, 9 albums, all on Spotify. Link down in the description. It's free to listen to. It supports me. It's great lo-fi background music for different stuff. I enjoy it. I listen to it even when I'm not streaming, but it's what we play during the stream. It's what's playing during this video. It's also free to use by content creators without the fear of copyright strikes or DMCA takedowns. That's what it's made for, is for the community to use and enjoy without the fear of the bullshit from the major record labels. The only thing I ask is you just attribute us so people know where it's coming from and more people can listen to it. So go check it out. Make sure you hit the follow button and stuff on Spotify, because that all helps me out a bunch. They have an algorithm over there, the whole 9 yards. So I appreciate it if you guys do use the music. I really do. But we'll wrap her up there. Thank you guys for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your raids, and we'll see you in Tarkov.